on the previous episode of Talk That Talk.
So from that standpoint, like I said, I think there has to be content. It depends, because the fact of the matter is there's a lot of people that are band directors of either race, and the student body may be different, that are doing amazing jobs, but I think there has to be a place where, if you don't know the experiences of those people in your band, you are able to educate yourself otherwise. And this is not just about race. A lot of the conversation now around sexuality in these band programs is starting to become huge, from the way you identify people. People wanting to be identified by the gender that they choose, not the one that they were assigned at birth. That's a conversation that a lot of HBCUs, I don't know if they're having them or not. I know I have had to have those conversations as a band director, and that was new for me coming from an HBCU to where I am now, because we just weren't having those conversations. Yes, there were gay members of our band. Yes, there were trans members of our band, but we never had the conversations. My pronoun is this. I don't even know that if that's on initial paperwork when students go into bands now. What's your pronoun? So I think it's a larger conversation, but I think it's all about educating yourself on like Walter said earlier, knowing your students and the needs of your students. And if you can do that, man, I don't think there's a such thing as a band director has to look like their student body. I don't think that that's the case at all. And then I guess the last part I'll say is, I've marched drum corps and taught drum corps for a long time. I was always one of the only Black people out there. Always one of the only ones. And I represented my Blackness as much as I could. I was a soloist every year I marched, and I was Black. I went to Norfolk State. I was one of the only people from an HBCU in the group. So I think that there is a happy medium. So I'll leave it there.
All right, Maya. Now you second. There you go. Is it disingenuous to have band directors who don't look like the students?
I honestly don't know the answer to this. It's so much that goes into it. I could say talent is talent. Leadership is leadership. To be able to do an effective and efficient job, to be able to produce a quality band program that has no color or that has no look to it per se. Now, I think that we should go a little bit further into how present or how much is the culture infiltrated into the idea, if we're talking about bands in general, or more specifically HBCU bands. Because like Brown was saying, like right now we're seeing a switch into where it's more than just Black people, Black students in these bands. It's becoming more and more prominent and relevant. So backwards, are we asking the same thing? Is it disingenuous for them to be a part of the band? Is it disingenuous for old boy that we talked about 2 weeks ago, DM from Alabama State? Is it disingenuous for him to be a drum major in an HBCU band program? I think it's just, I don't know. There's so many sides in it. Now, what I will say is, do I think that someone like Brown said, who has not experienced and doesn't quite understand on a personal level the things that the students of an HBCU band program potentially will experience or have gone through? But I think that that's where the support of your staff comes from. Right at the head, it happens to not be Black or whomever, who's not to say that you cannot familiarize yourself with an effective staff who can pick up where you lack. And that's where it comes to kind of the ups and downs of having an effective band program, of having persons who have their strengths and being able to pivot or delegate when not. So is it disingenuous? Not necessarily, because at the end of the day, talent is talent, knowledge is knowledge. But again, it's going to be hard to implement at some point. When that band program stands on the field, somebody's going to say, oh, look at this person trying to be like the Black people. Or the first thing people are going to say is, Black people can't have nothing. Oh, it's gentrification in the HBCU bands. That's going to be the response.